All right, we'll go ahead and call this Churchill County Commissioners meeting to order. At this time, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, is there any public comment for items that are not on the agenda? Seeing none, can I get a verification?
Did you want to do public comment? Now's the time.
Oh, okay. Thank you for just stopping me there. Yep, either one of these tables, and there's going to be a little green button or red button. It'll turn green for you. If we could have you turn on your microphone, it's going to be that red button at the bottom. Yep, there you go.
Chairman Ghetto and Commissioners, the summary firing of Dr. Ryan Caskey and Dr. Misty Caskey has shocked, affected, and appalled many of us deeply. I hope they are receiving the full support of this community as they seek to new directions, and I hope they will be able to stay with us. That I do not know. The Caskey's firing leaves us now with 2 general practice doctors in a county with a population of approximately 26,000, 5,000 approximately of whom are 65 and over. I regard this event as a crisis. Patients and others who have been told that we can go to Reno for medical care. I did not retire to Fallon in order to travel to Reno or anywhere else for medical care. And this ignores the fact that some of us do not have cars and have other transportation issues. So I would hope that in the discussions about what to do, this transportation issue might be on the agenda. It avoids and ignores the fact that many of us avoid trips sitting in a vehicle for 1 to 2 hours because it's painful and tiring, and when ill, not a desired experience. The Caskey's firing simply points to the precarious status of medical service in Churchill County. Since 2017, by my count, we have lost 8 doctors. I did not research any of the doctors affiliated with Renown. This number includes doctors who visit once a month to see patients, and the pattern here is that doctors come, stay 1 to 2 years, and leave. And I'm aware that COVID had something to do with that. I would like to know if anyone in the city or the county is doing an exit interview with the departing doctors. That, it seems to me, is important information for planning purposes. Is anyone besides patients asking why? I hope you will. Let me turn now to suggest some thoughts about process I hope you will consider in your response to community concerns regarding medical care. I hope you will gather all the players in this issue to the table, or all the players or their representatives to this table, and let them tell their stories. Players might include the medical community, their representative, city leaders, their representative. The idea is to get as much information true that we can. I would ask that we develop a plan to address community concerns, items discussed, anything having to do with medical care and medical service in the Fallon and Churchill County community. This could be, the planning part of this could be done with the task force and whatever, so we don't have to have everybody that might possibly have an idea at the table. I hope we will devise ways to be transparent in everything that we do and report this to the community. Third, I want to talk a little bit about models. I hope you will investigate other models of healthcare in addition to the corporation model we are in. I am aware, for example, that one of the large hospitals, not Emory, in Atlanta, Georgia, within the past couple of months, simply put a sign up on the door and said, "We're no longer in business." They had six clinics they shut down in the state of Georgia in these small communities. I'm suggesting by this that we investigate these other models of doing business, and I'm happy to talk about it, but I want to observe the 3-minute limit. The Mayo Clinic story is on DVD in the library and a good stimulus for thinking about health care and the changes we have endured in my lifetime. Every crisis provides opportunity for change, growth, and new opportunities. I hope we will not let this good crisis be ignored or dismissed. My heart goes out to many, many people who were patients of the Caskies and, like myself, went into shock when this event took place. I hope we will look at other models of medical care so that we address the issue where corporations can come into small communities like Fallon and remove 2 doctors without warning. This seems to me inhuman. I am willing to share ideas on healthcare issues with you, respond to questions about my remarks today if asked. I thank you for listening. And I have copies that I will pass.
Pass it down if you want.
Yeah.
Thank you for your public comment. Moving on to agenda item number 4, verification of the posting of the agenda.
Pam Moore, for the record, the agenda was posted on March 15th between the hours of 8 and 9 at the locations listed on the agenda in accordance with statutes.
Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as submitted?
I move to approve the agenda as submitted.
I'll second it. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Can I get a approval of the minutes of the meeting held on February 21st, 2024?
I move to approve the minutes of the meeting held on February 21st, 2024.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Moving to our first appointment, presentation of employee service awards for the first quarter of 2024. Pass it to Jim.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Jim Barbie for the record. Jeff, if you come down and give me a hand, we'll let our commissioners make their way down to the backdrop where they'll be presenting the awards for service for this quarter. We'll be starting with the 5-year. Again, we want to thank all of our employees for their diligent service and dedication to this community. And we'll start with our 5-year recipients with the District Attorney's Office, Leticia Orozco Padilla. Congratulations. And you all got to get pictures and get in front. There you go. Got to do the handshaking thing and everything. One more picture. Congratulations. Our next recipient with 5 years from the museum, Rayburn Sotal. Ray, congratulations. Thanks, Joe. Congratulations, Ray. Additionally, with the museum, Marilyn Moore, 5 years. Congratulations. Congratulations with the Communities, Activities, Parks, and Recreation, also with 5 years, Elizabeth Webb. Is Beth here? There she is. Congratulations. Congrats. Now we move to 15 years in county service. From the assessor's office, the assessor, Denise Monhike Felton. Congratulations. Congratulations, Denise. Jumping to 20 years with the museum, lots of museum folks. Donna Cassette, 20 years of service with the county. Is Donna here? Receiving in her stead will be. Nice, Mel. 20 years of service in the sheriff's office, Paul Loop. Is Paul here? Receiving for Paul this afternoon will be. Thank you, Sheriff. 25 years with the District Attorney's Office, Arthur Mallory. We got to figure out what's going on. Everybody's here for the 5 year, but we're trailing off. We do have our next recipient here with 25 years of service to Churchill County, your sheriff, Richard Hickox. Congratulations. Leave him hanging. Jeff, you're not done. I'm going to go ahead and move to the next item, Mr. Chair, and you guys can stay there if you're good with that. So our next item, Agenda 7B, is recognition of Ray Sotal from the museum. Ray, if you'll come back up. I don't know if folks have had the opportunity to be out at the Rafter 3C in the last 3-4 weeks, somewhere in that time period. But Mel allowed Ray to take a leadership role in putting together the College of Agriculture, Technology, Biotechnology, UNR brands collection, the state brands collection, that they were grateful enough and willing to let Churchill County put under display at the Rafter 3C, which was a great idea, but then we got the collection, and what do we do with it? Ray, stay up there. I'm not done talking about you. And so had a conversation with Mel, and Mel put it in the able hands of Ray to take over and kind of lead that, putting that exhibit together. And if you've seen it, I'm sure you were blown away like I was and like everybody else that's been in there. If you haven't, you need to go check it out. He did a tremendous job. Looks better than it ever looked when it was at John Esquaga's Nuggets for about 25 years under display underneath the Rose Ballroom. A beautiful display honoring agriculture heritage, ranching heritage in Nevada. So we wanted to say a special thank you for Ray for putting that effort in and making a real success out of that. And as a little bit of token of award, we wanted to honor you for that, Ray. So thank you so much. Big round of applause. And I will move on to item 7C on our agenda. And we'll start off, if I can have Joff Stark come forward and his spouse, Lena Stark, and any of the family that may be here with you. We want the whole lot of you to come on up. Joff has 28 years of service with Churchill County, working as the HR director in most of that time period. Joff personally has been heavily engaged, obviously, over these years in this community, and his family has made a home in this community. And in my short, almost 6 years tenure, has been the finest HR manager in my government work I've ever worked with. He gave me a letter, a couple of resignation retirement letter a couple of weeks ago, and there's a couple items I want to read out here because I think they are awful meaningful to this community in terms of his service. It has been an honor and immense privilege to serve the residents of Churchill County, which has become my home for nearly 28 years, almost half my life. During that time, having worked under 4 different county managers, 12 county commissioners, I have sought to honor the Lord in all that I have done. My time here has been an incredible journey, and now my journey continues. Lastly, I want to express my best wishes to everyone in Churchill County. May this organization continue to thrive and achieve great things. I look forward to staying connected and crossing paths in the future. Joff, we look forward to crossing paths with you. It's been a true privilege. I think I speak on behalf of the commissioners in saying that. It's awful proud to have you representing Churchill County. We wish you the best of luck. He's got the flowers for the wife, and then the basket full, and of course these are always Julie, she puts these things together. They will be going on a vacation shortly. Every possible whim that you could need on this vacation, I think Julie addressed and covered in that heavy bag, so you are good to go. Thank you so much for your service. We appreciate it. Big round of applause. One more, Joe. This may take a couple of you. This is for Dave. I'll just follow you. Sorry, bear with us. Fat man running. Our second retiree that we want to honor this afternoon, and Joff will be completing his service with the county in 2 days. Friday is his last day with the county. And then Marie Henson has spent 21 years with Churchill County, worked in a couple of different agencies or divisions, finishing up as the director of our building department. Dave and Marie Henson, if you will go ahead and step forward. Big round of applause. This one doesn't carry quite as much gravitas because of a government guy that I am, but you are by far the best building director I've ever worked with. but I don't think it short sells it that you might have been the only building director I've ever worked with. But it's been a tremendous pleasure. Marie has been hugely dedicated to this community. Both Marie and Dave come from this community. This is their lifelong home, and I believe will continue to be their lifelong home. And just two great people. I've had the honor of breaking wine and cheer with them, as well as cheese and telling some crazy Jeep stories and everything else with Dave. I know that we're going to miss you here at Churchill County in the county building, but you know where we are and you'll come visit us. But I plan to see you many times outside of work. So we have a couple of gifts for you guys. So Dave gets the Ford pickup truck, trying to find something that's super manly for you there with the cactuses and such. And then Marie and Dave both, like I said, enjoy a good red and some cheese and some things to go with it. Not enough for either you or for Joff for your service and your representation to this county, but many thanks, and we greatly appreciate it, and we wish you very much the best. Congratulations on your retirement. Big round of applause. Marie doesn't get away quite so quick. She's going to be here working with us till May as we transition. Big round of applause for all of our county employees, their dedication to this community and such. We really appreciate it.
We'll move to our 7D appointment, consideration and possible action, update of current activities, plans, or actions related to the Bureau of Land Management, Carson City District.
Okay, let's see if I can do that. Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Siobhan Sapp. I'm the acting field manager for the Stillwater Field Office in Carson City District. And I'm just here to share a few things, what's going on in our district. As you know, we have the National Defense Authorization Act that we're working on. That's probably one of our primary projects that we're dealing with right now. A lot going on with that. We have, in the process right now of hiring a project manager to help us get through the entire process. And then a major part of that is working with the grazing permittees on developing a plan for their allotments that they have. And so the Navy's working closely with them along with our solicitors, and they're developing an appraisal process for them. The next major item with the Defense Act is that the redesign of Sand Canyon Road. So right now we're waiting from Churchill County for a application, our FS 299, that we need to get that process going. And during the time we're waiting on that application, we're working on doing a statement of work to get a contractor to help us work through that process.
Question on that item. Why couldn't the original application be amended to just basically refer back to Churchill County, since the federal law basically says those right-of-ways will be awarded to the owners of the leadway or the roadway? Is it necessary to go through the entire process again through the application?
Yes, it is. Even though Congress signed the law into effect, there's a lot of the areas out there probably haven't even been surveyed, so to get the boundaries correct, we have to have a surveying process happen. And then there's the whole application process to make sure that everything is documented correctly, and that we have to do environmental assessments with that. So
I understand that, but I'm not sure all of that's been addressed by the Navy when they submitted the application. Have they not submitted the application? Because that's what we had been told.
Well, we're being told that the county needs to submit the application, and that you're waiting on the Navy to fund that for you.
Okay. Yeah, we're definitely waiting on the
So-
Navy funding, but yeah.
Yeah. So I think maybe the next step for us to do is maybe to set up a meeting, and we can sit down and go over through the whole process with our real estate department and our district manager and with the Navy, and let you really get informed of what that whole process looks
We're in
like.
weekly meetings with the Navy discussing this
Yeah.
roadway and everything like that, so that's where I'm a little bit at a loss where that's on us. But
And then
we'll-
there's the
we'll-
Navy's portion that they're working on, and then there's the BLM portion that we have to do. So I understand it's a complicated process, and it's government bureaucracy, and it's just the process that we have to follow. But I think if we get together and have a meeting on how to, what we have to do as far as making that all work, and then there's that portion that with that application that you're going to have to follow through with, to make that happen, it would probably be beneficial for all of us.
Sure, no, we're always willing to meet.
Okay.
Yep.
Our next major thing we're happening here next month, or in April, is that we're doing a whole flight for all of our HMOs, for our herd management areas for our Wild Horse and Burro program, and that'll be covering all of our herd management in the Stillwater area. And then we have planned for August to do a burro gather, and towards, not so much in Churchill County, but I'm just letting you know what's all going on with the Wild Horse and Burro program. That's more like in the Marietta area, and then down in Hawthorne area. We have some major geothermal projects. Dixie Meadows is projects that have been going on for quite a while. We're still working through the biological assessments for those, for that project because of the listing of the toad. And then Diamond Flat exploration, we're working on the NEPA, but it's a little bit on hold. Our main push right now is Dixie Meadows, and it's taking the majority of our time. Then we have Coyote Canyon, and we're still working on that with ORMAT, collecting baselines and getting ready for the NEPA for that. And then Comstock, ORMAT has asked us to put that project on hold until we get through the Dixie Meadows and the Diamond Flat and Coyote Canyon. We are having another lease sale come up for geothermal leases. That'll come up in August. This year, we have more special recreation permits than we ever have in the last several years. Here's the listing of all of them at this moment that run through Churchill County. We have the endurance ride that will happen in May, and then the for Dogfight 250, that'll also happen in May. That's an OHV race. Legacy Frontier of 500, and that's in April, an OHV race. And then there's the MX race in June, and Cold Springs Poker Run in May, and then, of course, Vegas to Reno is our largest race that goes from Vegas all the way up to Reno, and that happens in August of every year. And the Vero fiber optics line, we just signed the DR and Fonzie for that, and that happened last week, so that's on the way of starting to get built. And then we have GreenLink. It's kind of got a little hold up, and we're still working through it, but that's another large transmission line from Vegas to Reno. And there's a little hold up with that down in the Tonopah area regarding sage grouse. So, and that's all I have for right now. Those are just our major projects at the moment. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions or comments?
No?
Seeing none, thank you for your time.
Well, thank you for having us.
We're going to jump out of order real quick. We're going to move to agenda item 7J, consideration and possible action, application for funding for the Churchill County Junior Livestock Show and Sale in the amount of $5,000.
Mr. Chair, Jim Barbie for the record. This is part of the community support grant award that we provide to different organizations within the community. And I'll have Karen kind of go through, and the kids go through the program itself, but again, as a reminder, this is a program that creates around $100,000 a year in terms of scholarship resource for some of the kids in the community that are focused in animal industry, animal agriculture, and agriculture as a whole. So with that, I'll turn it over to the students.
Thank you, Jim Barbie. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Caitlin Dock. I am here representing the Churchill County FFA chapter. And a little bit about what I'm showing at the Churchill County Junior Livestock Show this year is I am putting a market steer through the show and sale, along with 2 breeding heifers and a breeding doe.
Hi, my name's Carly Dock, and I'm representing High Desert Range. This year I'm showing a market goat and putting him through the sale, and I'm showing 2 breeder does.
Hi, I'm Avery Lacka, and I'm representing Churchill County 4-H. I have been showing a CCJLS for 4 years, and I'm going to show a pig and a lamb this year.
Hi, I'm Grace Lacka, and I'm representing Oasis FFA. This is my 8th year showing at CCJLS, and this year I'm going to show a lamb and dairy heifer.
Hi, my name is McKady Bogdanowicz. I'm representing Churchill County 4-H, and this year I'm going to show a heifer, my bunnies, and my market lamb at CCJLS. This is my 6th year, and we're all here today to ask for $5,000 for our show for current judges and nice awards.
Thank you, guys. Anything you guys want to add? Questions or comments? Can I get a motion, please?
I move to approve funding in the amount of $5,000 in FY24 to support the Churchill County Junior Livestock Show and Sale.
I'll second that. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, we'll jump back in order. We'll move back to 7E, consideration and possible action. An application filed for a zone change filed by Hooper Management Family LLP and Cheryl Bancroft Trust for the property located off Gummo Drive, assessor parcel number 008-391-28 and 008-391-29, consisting of 6.11 and 27.97 acres respectively in the E1 zoning district, whereby the applicant is requesting a zone change for the portion of the parcel being a 13-acre fronting Gummo Drive, resulting from the proposed boundary line adjustment from the E1 to R2. Dean?
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Dean, County Commissioners. Dean Patterson for the record, Public Works and Planning. You have before you a rezone request submitted by Cheryl Bancroft. She wants to rezone part of her property as R2. Pam, do you have the, okay. So Ms. Bancroft owns the chunk of land west of the golf course, between the golf course and Gummo Drive. She would like to rezone the area, thank you, along Gummo Drive across the street from the mini storage businesses to be multifamily R2. She's been working to develop this property for years, and the plan is to have apartments along Gummo Drive, and then between them and the golf course to do golf course subdivision of roughly half-acre lots. This application has a bit of a complicated background. She initially was working with a business partner, and they wanted to do R3 zoning, and that had potential for 16 units per acre. The county staff was concerned about the impacts that much potential development could have on Gummo and the intersection with US 50. Staff had recommended that a staff report be prepared before it was approved. Since then, Ms. Bancroft inquired into the R2 zoning, whereas they had planned to do a complex of apartments. R2 zoning would be for individual lots with 2, 3, and 4 plexes. And so she's pursuing that now. Her intent was to not have to do the traffic study at the time of the rezone. Staff felt that the risks were smaller and agreed that the traffic study could wait till the subdivision stage of the development. So that's what she's proposing to do at this point. There's a boundary line adjustment in place. The existing lot line goes roughly east-west, and she's proposing to change it to be roughly north-south to match the boundary of the R2 zone, and the conditions of approval that are recommended would make implementation of the rezone contingent on getting the boundary line adjustment done. At the Planning Commission meeting, there was some opposition from neighbors along, I think it's Country Club Drive to the north, and the Planning Commission heard them, and they decided to go ahead and recommend approval for the project. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Is there any public comment on this item? Go ahead and sit at this table, and again, it's the little red button at the bottom of that microphone. Just state your name and address for the record.
Just touch the red light.
Andrew Harris, 2955 Country Club. The opposition that was presented at the last meeting was only a portion of those affected. I don't believe everyone that would be affected by this project was notified. I've talked to 2 different families on Country Club that were not notified, I believe because they're renters and not owners. It not only affects the Country Club people, but everyone down halfway down York and the rest of the way up Gumma that are going to be impacted by this traffic. I would like to know if all of those people were notified, and I don't expect you guys to have the answer for that today, but I don't think the proper parties were notified of this zoning change.
I'll just say, Chris, the renters aren't notified because the letters are mailed out to the property owners. So whoever owns that property, if they're in California or wherever they're at, they're the ones who got the letter.
Okay, would the renters, if they knew about this, would they have a say in the matter?
They could show up to the meeting if you would have told them, but.
Okay.
But the owners do. The owners could have notified them themselves what was going on, and that's how it's designed to be, and that's what's required by law.
Okay, that makes sense, and that's part of the problem of these owners being out of state, which the majority of that would be because it would all be rental, correct? It's all apartments, it's not, there's no owning apartments out here, really. So that'd be more misrepresented stakeholders? I think that'd be a problem with putting apartments right there. Other opposition, traffic, if they're reducing from R3 to R2 to get out of doing a traffic study, that seems like they know that there's gonna be a problem.
From my understanding of this, I think she had a misrepresentation in her mind about what R3 was versus R2 she does not want to do. Dean can correct me if I'm wrong, because I remember being at the Planning Commission meeting and there was some discussion about that.
Yeah, that's correct. They wanted to do the apartment complex, but not at the maximum density of 16 units per acre. Their proposal was more like 6 to 8 units per acre.
Okay, so with R2, they're allowed 10 units per acre, I believe,
That would be the maximum.
which puts us at 130 properties just in that dark blue. Or not properties, but 130 dwellings. Let's say there's only one working person per dwelling, that's an extra 130 cars of traffic in that very small intersection. I think the traffic study should be done before rezoning is considered. I think she has plenty of money to make off of that existing E1 zoning. She could develop those roughly 60 properties, and we'll see how that treats everything before we add 130 more.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Not today.
Any other public comment on this agenda item?
Dean, like, when she submits her map on her plan development, most of the time, that's when a traffic study is actually done, right?
That's correct. At the time of subdivision, a traffic study and a number of other studies are required.
Right, because just rezoning does not approve the project at all. Correct.
Correct. This will just be allowing a different type of project.
And see, that's where I kind of stand on the traffic. I mean, I understand Gummo's a horrible road to be driving down, especially that intersection, train tracks, all of that. But this is just the zone switch, so we don't truly know what she could bring forth the maximum. She could bring back and say she wants to do something completely different if she wants to. You know, it's kind of up to them, being the landowner, to decide what they want to do and what scale. And then that'll come back in front of the planning commission, and then so on and so forth. So this is kind of just a beginning step. In my opinion, every property right owner has the right to, if they want to switch it and it makes sense for Churchill County, it's in the opportunity zone, they can do that.
Okay, understood.
Is there any other public comment? Any questions from board or staff? Can I get a motion, please?
I move to approve the zoning map amendment for Hooper Management Family LLP and Cheryl Bancroft on assessor's parcel number 008-391-28 and 008-391-29, subject to the requirements that A, the area zoned R2 shall be the area displayed on the proposed boundary line adjustment map accompanying the rezone proposal, and B, the zone change does not become effective until the said boundary line adjustment is recorded.
I'll second that. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to appointment 7F, consideration and possible action, approval to purchase Verkada security equipment and licenses for a 10-year term through Carshaft, a state purchasing contractor, in the amount of $212,442.22. Colin?
Good afternoon, Commissioners, members of the board. Colin Utterback, for the record. Should I just
go?
jump right
Yep.
into it? Okay.
Floor is yours.
What you have before you is a quote to purchase Verkada security equipment and licensing for a term of 10 years through Caresoft, a state purchasing contractor, for the amount of $212,330.95. Verkada reached out to us just a couple days ago with some additional discounts, so they shaved off like another $112 there. This purchase, or this proposal was to purchase licensing and equipment for both the JPO project and the social services project at the same time to, there was an opportunity for cost savings by purchasing both at the same time. And after reviewing with the civil DA, those cost savings to combine the projects saved the county over $20,000. Bear with me here. The camera system is required for JPO because their current camera system is antiquated and old, and there are security risks that come with keeping that security system, so we wanted to replace those cameras. And like I said, there was some cost savings to combine the purchasing and licensing and equipment for another project. Because this wasn't budgeted in the current fiscal year, we are seeking authorization to fund this project.
Colin, is this just for the cameras and the license and not for the installation? Right?
Correct.
Okay. That'll be a different contract
Right.
going forth.
Yeah.
Mr.
Anything else?
Chairman,
Go ahead.
just a quick note of clarification. I remind you that during our budget tour and budget presentations with JPO, part of this was part of that discussion where some of their cameras had gone offline, and recognition of the liability concerns in that. That was put together with this, and then at the same time with the purchase of the 270 South Main, property in recognition of the programs that will be moving in there. That consolidated purchase made a lot of sense, and this probably will be a kind of a, while you see it as a 10-year, will be a consolidated fix we'll have in other locations moving forward into the future. And if you remember, they covered, they being Lalo, covered some of the specific advantages of this program and its abilities that it can do, and that would be carried across any of the locations that we utilize these cameras and that software system and that support system in, just for clarity and connecting the dots, which is also why JPO came forward and didn't request any camera fixes in the FY25 budget. Yes.
Thank you, Jim. Any other questions or comments? Is there any public comment? Seeing none, can I get a motion, please?
I move to purchase Verkada security cameras with the 10-year licenses through CrossSoft in the amount of $212,442.22.
I'll second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thanks, Colin. Moving on to agenda item 7G, consideration of possible action, approval of the service agreement with PAC States in the amount of $48,583.93 for the installation of data and cabling systems at 270 South Main Street, Fallon, Nevada. Got anything to add on that one? You have anything to add on that one?
Nothing to add.
Okay. Any questions or comments from board or staff? Any public comment? Seeing none, can I get a motion, please?
I move to approve the purchase agreement with PAC States in the amount of $48,583.93 for the installation of data and cabling systems at 270 South Main Street, Fallon, Nevada.
I'll second that. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to agenda item 7H, consideration and possible action, approval of the purchase agreement with PAC States in the amount of $37,870.01 for the provision and installation of a security and access control system at 270 South Main Street, Fallon, Nevada. Anything different on that one? Any questions from board or staff? Any public comment? Seeing none, can I get a motion?
I move to approve the purchase agreement with PAC States for the provision and installation of security and access control systems at 270 South Main Street, Fallon, Nevada.
I'll second that. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
I want to reopen that motion and add a value to that
Okay.
motion because it's on the top but not in the
Not in the
motion.
actual thing, yep, that's fine.
So I would add in the amount of $37,870.01.
I'll second that. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to 7I, consideration possible action, approval of a professional service agreement with TID Systems in the amount of $25,280 to install cabling and configuration of security cameras for the Juvenile Probation Center at 335 North Broadway Street, Fallon, Nevada.
And Colin, this is the installation now
Correct.
for the JPO.
That's correct.
Anything else you want to add on that one?
No, sir.
Any questions or comments from board or staff? Is there any public comment? Seeing none, can I get a motion, please?
I move to approve the professional services agreement with TID Systems to install cabling and configure security cameras at 335 North Broadway Street, Fallon, Nevada, in the amount of $25,280.
I'll second that. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Good job, Colin.
Thanks,
Thank
Colin. Could you hit your mic for me?
Yes.
Thanks. Moving on, 7K, consideration and possible action, approval of a real estate purchase agreement in the amount of $775,000 for 280, 282, 290, and 292 Quail Way for the Home Means Nevada initiative and implementation of a new pass house and daycare center. Shannon?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the board. For the record, Shannon Ernst, Churchill County Social Services. As you know, just over a year ago, we applied to the Home Means Nevada initiative to implement a transitional house and day center here in Churchill County. Since that time, we had identified a property that was county-owned, and we brought forward the agreements with the state, and then that plan did change. Then we were able to come across this property here on Quail Way. We submitted our revisions to the state, and they have approved those, and so we submitted the offer. So before you is approval for that actual offer that was submitted for this location. It was contingent on board approval today, and it's also contingent upon the appraisal. Once those come in, we've asked for authorization to close and the county manager to execute. If there's any questions, I can answer.
Any questions or comments from board or staff? Is there any public comment? Seeing none, can I get a motion?
I move to approve the real estate purchase agreement as presented and to authorize the county manager to execute all required documents to finalize the purchase.
I'll second that. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. 7I, public hearing, consideration and possible action, Bill 2024B, Ordinance 7, an ordinance amending Title III of the Churchill County Code relating to accrual and use of annual leave. Are you taking this one?
I can, Jeff Weed for the record. Before the board is the approval of Bill 2024B, Ordinance 7. The Churchill County Code establishes the eligibility and accrual rate for leave for county employees. This ordinance replaces the term vacation with the term annual leave. For consistency, clarifies that annual leave is available the first day of the pay period following the one it is earned, and formalizes the manner of use of annual leave in certain circumstances. I know there's a little more to it than that. It's contained within the agenda packet. I'm happy to go into it further, but I think that encapsulates the general nature of this ordinance. As the board will recall, there was a first reading conducted on March 7th. Legal notice was published in the Fallon Post for the public hearing today. And so the ordinance is before the board. That's the general overview of the ordinance, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Is there any questions or comments from board or staff? Any public comment? Seeing none, can I get a motion?
I move to approve Bill 2024-B, Ordinance 7, as presented.
I'll second that. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We'll move to 8, nuisance complaint. Consideration and possible action, a nuisance complaint filed by Roger D. Mooney, Sean Watkins, Ruth Groves against Richard S. Owls, Pauline Owls, and Patrick Owls related to miscellaneous vehicles on the property located at 11,800 Fulkerson Road, Fallon, Nevada, assessor parcel number 007-111-34, and adoption of Resolution 6-2024 declaring whether there is or is not a nuisance associated with this property. Where is Chris at?
And Jeff Weed for the record. I can kind of lay the foundation of where we'll go today, if that's okay with the chair. Lorelei is here from the planning department. As was read in the agenda item, we're here for a nuisance complaint that was filed, and this is the time to present factual evidence before the board for the court's determination on whether or not it is a nuisance or is not a nuisance. I would advise that anyone who is to give factual testimony today or present facts to the board be sworn in before doing so. Obviously, public comment can be made, but if there's going to be facts presented, I'd advise that they be sworn in before presenting those. We start with the planning department, Lorelei, as she's conducting an investigation in this case to provide her observations, investigation, and recommendations. Third, that we hear from the complainants, if any, that may present and state what they want. Fourth, hear from the owner, who may present what they want, and then the board to make a determination of nuisance. And so that's how I would advise we proceed today, but I'll submit it to the board for that.
Okay, so if there's anyone that's going to give factual testimony to this nuisance complaint, will you please come forward, and we're going to be sworn in by Pam. If we got a couple more people coming up as well.
Please stand. Raise your right hand. Do each of you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to provide shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under the pains and penalties of perjury?
I do.
Perfect. Now, each of you state your name for the record.
Lorelei Lee Barron, Churchill County Code Compliance Official.
Sean Lee Watkins, 11765 Fulkerson Road.
Roger Mooney, 465 Bench Road.
Russell Miller. I'm representing Polly. I'm her son-in-law. I live in Carson City, 2420 Airport Road.
Patrick Alice, 11800 Fulkerson Road.
Okay, thank you guys. Give me that order of operation one more time.
Again, I would suggest that we hear first from the planning department. Lorelei is here representing them. Then we hear from the complainants, and then allow the owner to make their case.
Okay, I'll turn it over to Lorelei.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm here to provide you my inspection report as it involves this nuisance case. It was filed by Roger D. Mooney, Sean Watkins, and Ruth Groves against Richard S. and Pauline M. Ellis and Patrick Ellis. Date filed was February 16, 2024. Site of alleged violation is 11800 Fulkerson Road, Fallon, Nevada 89406. The details of the complaint include open RVs, semi-trucks, pickups, and cars are stored in a state of disrepair visible to our property. Prior individuals residing in disabled RVs were using our property as a shortcut until we paid $8,000 fence. No fence, no gravel. Quote unquote. History overview includes, on November 9, 2005, a special use permit was approved for a 300-foot by 600-foot fence, secured area for recreational vehicle storage, boats, trailers, trucks, and various personal vehicles subject to conditions of approval. On September 8, 2021, a complaint was filed regarding people living in RVs, waste disposal concerns, renting RVs, and possible auto repair shop. An initial inspection was performed on October 10, 2021, and the property was determined to be in violation of the following Churchill County Codes Nevada Administrative Code, Nevada Revised Statute. Title 8, 8.060 or .010, dangerous structure or condition for partially torn down and unstable shade structure. 16.08, .070, temporary use permits for a recreational vehicle occupied on the premises without approval for a temporary use permit. 16.08, .080, special use permits for failure to enact within 365 days from the date of approval. 14.04, .010, permits required for unpermitted electrical work and modifications made to the septic system. Nevada Administrative Code 444, sanitation for improper containment and disposal of human waste. Nevada Revised Statute 40.140.1, nuisance. Nevada Revised Statute 487.290.1, unlawful possession of unregistered vehicles unfit for use. Exceptions. By 2022, the fence enclosure was successfully screened and came into compliance with fire, building, and zoning codes. Property conditions outside of the fence storage area violated local and state laws, including not meeting the conditions of approval within the special use permit. On May 23, 2023, a complaint was filed against the property involving the special use permit for RV storage, specifically pertaining to the number of RV and vehicles outside a fenced area, the number of non-operating vehicles on premise, persons living on premise other than owner, and the number of vehicles entering and leaving the property. There are two active and unresolved code compliance cases. The first one is code compliance case 210908-01, filed September 8, 2021, regarding special use permit conditions of approval unmet and people living in recreational vehicles. And again, on May 23, 2023, code compliance case RAC-2023-00080, filed regarding special use permit conditions of approval unmet and people living in recreational vehicles and the number of vehicles. Churchill County Sheriff's Department has received numerous calls out to the property in the last 2 to 3 years for a variety of different reasons. As I interviewed and conducted interviews with each of the complainants and surrounding neighbors, according to Mr. Watkins, there has been an increase in the number of vehicles being stored on the property since approximately 2020, although there were some there before. There is an improper storage of recreational vehicles. There is a lot of vehicular traffic. Vehicles come onto the property on trailers, but some never leave. Recreational vehicles are being stored and rented for the purposes of Burning Man. Outside of Burning Man season, random people appear to be living on the property in RVs and stay between 4 to 6 weeks at a time, while some people appear to be living there more than on a regular basis. According to Mr. Mooney, there is a collection of disabled vehicles and junk piles located outside of the fenced storage area at the back of the property, visible to many neighbors, but especially him. There is a concern for property values decreasing in the neighborhood due to the appearance of the property and the amount of vehicle and junk accumulation. According to Mrs. Groves, inoperable vehicles, partially dismantled vehicles, recreational vehicles, and junk piles are brought onto 420 Bench Road from 11800 Fulkerson property and are dumped. Some campers are empty and others are being lived in. There is a lot of traffic. Additional investigative findings include, based on the inspection results and interviews conducted, there's an accumulation of inoperable, unlicensed, unregistered junk vehicles unfit for road use, located mostly at the rear of the property behind the fenced storage area. There is an enormous pile of debris mixed with junk along with small piles located at the rear of the property, which is a concern for fire safety and rodent infestation. There are several vehicles, including RVs, kept on the property for lengthy periods of time outside of the designated fenced storage area. There appears to be one or more occupied RVs on the property without the approval of a temporary use permit. On-site inspection requested but not accomplished. Mr. Patrick Alice denied entry onto the property at the time of inspection. Mr. Alice has not contacted me to schedule an on-site inspection to date. And as follows, my recommendations is that all excess vehicles intended for storage which does not fit inside the fenced storage area, remove a minimum of 10 unlicensed, unregistered, inoperable vehicles per month, provide proof of removal within 5 days. Piles of mixed debris to be cleaned up within 30 days to prevent a potential fire hazard, and cease all occupancy of people residing in RVs and obtain approval via temporary use permit, along with other permit inspection requirements, such as a placement permit to verify safe connections. Comply with the special use permit conditions of approval, and I did modify, which was previously stated, obtain the required business license and maintain license requirements to current business license for RV storage originally issued on August 6, 2014. The business license is up for renewal and shall reflect current business activity and operation upon renewal. Business license and requirements to be maintained and reflect accurately the current business operation and activities.
Thank you, Lorelei. What was the original SUP for? Do you remember?
I do, I have it with me. It states that the original special use permit to establish a 300-foot by 600-foot fence secure storage area for recreational vehicles, boats, trailers, trucks, and various personal vehicles.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to the complainant now. Do you have anything you'd like to add on that?
What she said.
That'll-
Actually, you know, in his defense, he's been working very hard the last couple of weeks clearing up debris, if that matters to the case. From what I could tell, there's been 2 people back there working almost daily or probably daily. I don't have a problem with 1 yellow bus per every 10 acres in the county, which I see a lot, you know, which happens. You know, I don't have a problem with that, but this is much, much, much more than that. And that's why I thought he was gonna start selling some of the scrap metal, which is what all that is. I really thought years ago when I talked to his dad and then I talked to him, that was what the plan was, to sell scrap metal. Well, if it's, I don't know what it is, I've never sold any, but 2 cents a pound, it's hardly worth hauling, I guess, now. I didn't go to Toastmasters, obviously, so I have to think about what I say before I say it. And I'm 75 years old, so that doesn't help. But the way Nevada DMV works their registration costs on RVs, it doesn't depreciate it after. I think it depreciates the value of the RV if it was bought for $300,000 down to maybe $100,000, and then for a 20-year-old RV you're paying like big $900 for DMV. So it's not worth it for people, it was for me when I had one, for people to restore or keep running their old RVs. So that adds to the situation that he's got in his backyard. That's my feeling on that. Like I said, it's just so much more than 1 yellow bus and a couple old pickup trucks. And it's the property value, I'm sure, is affected. And I know, you know, I'm affected personally too, because it's just ugly out there. That's all.
Thank you. Would the property owners or the representation like to speak on this?
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Russ Miller. I am Polly Alice's son-in-law, and I am helping Pat clean up Polly's property at 11800 Fulkerson Road. Richard Alice is deceased. Polly is 94 years old. She has dementia. She does not hear or see well. Right now, she is at her daughter's house in Washington State and cannot be here today. Pat is Polly's primary caregiver. The property involved in this complaint has an accumulation of 19 years of antique trucks and other vehicles on it. The antique trucks and pickups were parked where they sit today when Roger purchased his property in 2015. The motorhomes were placed there when the county representative told us that the motorhomes could not be in the storage yard enclosure. So we moved them out behind the storage yard where the antique trucks are parked. We admit that they are an eyesore, and we are in the process of dismantling them for the scrap yard. We will continue working on this area until it is cleaned up satisfactorily. Tyler Shaw lived across Bench Road from Roger and would use Roger's land as a shortcut to get across to his travel trailer that was parked in the area in question. Whenever he had a fight with his girlfriend, he would sneak over and stay in the travel trailer. He was never given permission to do so. Pat helped Roger out by moving some very large tree stumps from his property to Polly's property so that Roger could have someone put in a barbed wire fence. Roger told Pat that the reason he was having a fence replaced was to keep another neighbor's cattle from straying on his property. We have been working on cleaning up this area since we got the notice. And we acknowledge that it has gotten out of control. We want to apologize to our neighbors for this, as they are good neighbors. Lastly, we don't know why Roger believes that there are weapons on the property. When Richard died in 2019, all his guns, of his guns were inherited by his son Sam. Sam has taken all the guns that his dad had to his house. There is no guns on the property in question. Also, Pat has helped Roger out on numerous occasions, loading hay for him and moving stumps. Roger did not seem to be afraid then. We are sorry that he feels that way today. And actually, those trucks, like I said, were there before. Dick hauled them from where they lived on Harrigan Road, parked them there. There was no problem. See, you can't see them because it's behind the, see, that's the storage yard. You have to go behind that where all that stuff is. That's, and Dick, he would not sell anything unless the price went up. And so it accumulates. And he's a scrapper. He loved to buy and thought he was going to make money on it. Okay, that's all I have to say. Here's some pictures of what we've done so far and dump receipts.
Do you have anything to add?
I'd just like to add that my mother was a 30-year county employee with an exemplary work ethic and attendance record. And, you know, we understand civic-mindedness and are not opposed to any of that. And we have been working diligently for the past couple of weeks to get this squared away. That's about it. You know, I was unaware that in the original special use permit that it said trucks and personal vehicles in the enclosure. I just was unaware of it. So if some of those stuff can be placed into the enclosure, we could do that too.
That would get them
Out of the site, Roger's site. And Roger, I'd like to say that, you know, I do apologize for
Go ahead.
The thing I mentioned about firearms in my statement was meant to be kind of tongue-in-cheek, and it probably isn't the way I should have done it for this board. The real reason, I mean, for the record, for the real reason I didn't go to the county before is that I didn't know the process. I didn't know that there was somebody here who not only has been working on it, but could hear my, listen to my input and perhaps help her out before I filled out the form and took it into the office down the hall. But that was meant to be tongue-in-cheek, and it probably wasn't very wise to put in there.
Is there anything else anyone would like to add?
Yes, Mr. Watkins was sworn in. I believe he has something to say.
Thank you. I live kitty corner across the road from Pat. And over the years, I've seen this grow and grow and grow. A lot of in-op vehicles there. And I understand occasionally you get a few things, but this has gotten out of hand. It's a sore to look at. It's just terrible. We have people come visit and ask if we live across a junkyard. And I'm sorry Pat has to do so much work, but if you look at the original agreement, there's a part in there about in-op vehicles, and it's a lot of them, a lot of them. And so I don't want to make his life miserable, but I don't want to look at that. And it's affecting my property value.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No, that's it.
I appreciate your concerns, and we're working diligently on it. And partially in my defense is a lot of people have brought vehicles there and then have disappeared. And so I've been stuck with a lot of these inoperable and unregistered vehicles. But the scrap prices have been down for the past few years. They've gone up a little bit. I'll start hauling that crap off.
You can't sell or get rid of a car that's not,
That you don't have a title.
if you don't have a title.
There is a process through DMV and abandonment and stuff like that that you can go through for that.
We could check into that.
Any other questions or comments from you guys?
If the board would like Lorelei LeBaron,
Lorelei come up, yeah, just because it's a public nuisance. Yep.
Lorelei LeBaron, Churchill County Code Compliance Official for the record. I just wanted to know if the board would like me to read the special use permit conditions of approval for the record.
Yes, please.
It states, subject to the following conditions placed on the special use permit. No outdoor lighting of any type. Fencing will be in obscure manner, 8 feet tall, chain link with slats to the contents are not visible to the neighbors. That no RV, boat, or any other vehicle stored on the property will be left in a state of disrepair. Compliance with Churchill County Code, acquisition of a business license, acquisition of a building permit for any structures 120 feet or larger, and also subject to the following recommendations from the Churchill County Fire Marshal. All batteries to be disconnected prior to storage. All liquefied propane, gas, LPG storage tanks shall be turned off and disconnected prior to storage. No LPG or ignitable liquids are to be stored within the RV units. Fire extinguishers are to be provided at each entrance into the facility, and the extinguishers are to be properly maintained. Gravel to be provided throughout the facility to fire apparatus access. Store RVs or other equipment at the greatest distance apart as possible, never to be closer than 10 feet separation, without prior approval from the fire marshal. Access into each RV unit shall be locked to prevent any unwanted, unauthorized admittance. Units shall not be stored closer than 10 feet from property lines and 3 feet from any fences. An RV storage area shall be kept free from non-fire restive vegetation. Within 12 months of issuance of this notice, applicant must demonstrate the 12 steps have been taken to enact the terms of the special use permit.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I would like to add that the area within the enclosure is all in compliance. It's been gravelled, the gates have the fire extinguishers, the RVs, the batteries are disconnected, and the propane is turned off.
Thank you. Any questions from board or staff?
Is anyone currently living in the RVs? No. There's no one, okay. So during Burning Man, no one's coming out there and,
They might stay overnight or something and pick them up and take them out and then bring them back.
is that why is that
But
why
they-
people are dropping them off? Is for Burning Man? Is that, so your storage site for Burning Man, is that what you're doing now?
That's generally what.
That's why people are dropping them off?
Yeah, some of their clients come and they stay a couple days while they're getting their RV prepared to go out there, stay a couple days at the end, you know, to clean their RV up and prepare it for the storage. But no, there's nobody permanent there was a couple, but when we were told that they couldn't be there, we had them leave, so.
Any other questions or comments from board or staff? Is there any public comment? I guess my comment on this, you guys were notified October 10th of 2021, and so I appreciate that you guys have been doing the work the past couple of weeks. I don't know if that's because of this meeting or what that situation was, but in my opinion, it's still a nuisance. If there's no more comment, I'll entertain a motion, please.
So I commend you guys on cleaning it up, looking on Google Maps and looking on the maps here. It is getting better compared, so I'm glad. But I'm going to go ahead and rule or do a motion to adopt Resolution 6-2024, a resolution finding that a nuisance does exist related to miscellaneous vehicles associated with property located at 11800 Flukerson Road, Fallon, Nevada, APN 007-111-34.
I'll second that. All those in-
And before you proceed on that, I just have a few questions, if you don't mind.
Oh, go ahead.
Sure.
Answering them to see if we can't clarify this to put in the resolution. There were a number of conditions set forth by the Planning Division. Lorelei read them in the record, and I think there was one modified from what was in your report. Is that accurate?
Yes, that was
Microphone, yeah.
And I guess while she's coming up, my question is this board going to order that be part of the abatement plan, those conditions?
Churchill County Code Compliance Official Lorelei Lee Barron for the record. I request the board to consider that and amend that specific one about the business licensing as it reflects more accurately.
Would you like to amend your motion?
Do you have a business license right now?
Yes, we do.
You do, right? Okay.
So next time that comes up for renewal, just to have it reflect actually what's happening on the property is all that's needed.
That's all that is.
And I would like to add that the storage, like I just said, the storage yard enclosure part is in compliance. And
Yeah, the SUPs follow the actual parcel, and so your whole entire parcel has to be in compliance with that. That's just kind of something you open yourself up to when you get an SUP.
Okay, well, I understand. We're in the process of
Yep,
getting
no
it
problem.
cleaned up.
Did you want to amend your motion to include those?
And then I have a few more as well,
Oh,
but
a
if,
few more?
will that be included in the motion?
Yes.
Okay. And then the county code requires that within 15 days, the owner of their property submit an abatement plan, whether it be to the board or to the Churchill County Public Works Director or their designee, as I think would be the best approach. And that they commence on that abatement plan within 30 days. Will that be part of the motion as well?
Your motion.
That be required? The 15 days to provide an abatement plan for approval to the Public Works Director or their designee, and then within 30 days, they begin that abatement plan. That's required by the county code, but I can put it in the resolution. Okay. And that's all my questions. Thanks.
So with those amendments, I'll second that. Does that work for you, Jeff?
Yes.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you guys for your guys' time.
You have to submit a plan.
You'll have to submit a plan, an abatement plan, within 15 days, and then you have 30 days to enact upon that abatement plan. I think Lorelei will step with you, and she'll kind of give you a guide through it.
All right, thank you.
Either way.
We are going to recess our regular meeting to conduct the liquor board, and then we will resume our regular meeting. We have to swap over the, oh, can I get a motion, please?
I move to go to liquor board.
I'll second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we'll go ahead and call this liquor board meeting to order. At this time, is there any public comment? Seeing none, can I get a verification of the posting of the agenda, please?
Pam Moore, for the record, the agenda was posted on March 13th between the hours of 1 and 5 at the locations listed on the agenda in accordance with statutes.
Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda as submitted?
I move to adopt the agenda as submitted.
I'll second it. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 5, consideration possible action, review and adoption of the minutes of the meeting held on December 7th, 2023.
I move to adopt the minutes of the meeting held on December 7th, 2023.
I'll second it. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. 6A, consideration possible action, approval of a regular annual liquor license for Corey Norwalk Egger Fallon Catering LLC. Sheriff?
Hello, Sheriff Richard Hickox for the record. We received the application. I conducted the background investigation as required by county code as well as state law, and I found nothing that would make me recommend not renewing. So my recommendation to the board is that we renew that license.
Thank you, Sheriff. Is there any questions or comments from board or staff? Is there any public comment? Seeing none, can I get a motion?
I move to approve a regular annual liquor license for Corey Nowak Egger Fallon Catering LLC.
I'll second it. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, we're adjourned. We'll go back to our regular meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and resume our regular meeting. We are at 10A, consideration and possible action, approval of proposals from Logically for the Churchill County Switch Replacement Project in the amount of $171,828.22 for new switches and wireless access points for 270 South Main Street, Fallon, Nevada, in the amount of $33,380.14. Julie?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Julie Guerrero for the record. What you have before you is a proposal from our managed services provider, Logically, to do our county-wide switch replacement project, which was a project that was brought to the board a year ago in January as part of the request for the fiscal year 24 IT projects. This is, aside from the phones, this is the final infrastructure project for all of the IT needs that were slated for fiscal year 24. This includes a total of 25 switches throughout the county, all of our different buildings and departments. We were able to work with them to obtain a 15% discount on equipment and labor. The total discount extended to us was just over $30,000, so we were able to get the 270 South Main Street building almost essentially paid for with those discounts. So the cost for the switches that are needed at the 270 South Main would be 1 switch per floor plus an edge switch. And then they need 10 wireless access points because, again, it's a new building. So the total cost for that site to receive the switches and wireless access points is $33,380. And so we are, through the IT budget, for what we budgeted in total for the switch replacement project, able to cover the cost of all of it. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Any questions from board or staff? Any public comment? Can I get a motion?
I move to approve the proposal from Logically for the countywide switch replacement project in the amount of $171,828.22 and approve the new switch and AP installation for the Social Services Public Work Building on South Main Street in the amount of $33,380.14.
I'll second that. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. 10B, consideration and possible action reporting and use of local assistance and tribal consistency funds, LATCF and ARPA, in the amount of $3,464,223.86.
Thank you. We received the second half of our COVID funds that were associated with the federal PELT in August of -- and it's time to report on those funds. So these funds can be used for any governmental charge, lack of a better word, and to fund any of our governmental activities. So therefore, what I'm requesting is when I submit the funds, that we apply these funds to cover payroll within the general fund, and then for the reporting purposes, but then transfer these funds to cover the partial building of the district court building. And so, and we also already committed, where is it? $69,242, I can't talk today, sorry. $69,284,000 that we were giving to NACO to fund their center for public lands. So the remainder of that would be transferred to cover the district court in the amount of $3,394,939.
Thank you, Sherry. Is there any questions or comments from board or staff? Any public comment? Can I get a motion, please?
I move to have the comptroller file a report with the U.S. Department of Treasury stating that these funds will be used to cover payroll within the general fund and then transfer the cost savings from the general fund to help fund the construction of the courthouse.
I'll second it. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. New business 10C, consideration possible action, approval of health insurance renewal for employees and retirees of Churchill County and estimated additional cost of $242,465. Julie?
Good afternoon, Julie Guerrero for the record. Julie Guerrero for the record. I am here as the chair of the Insurance Advisory Committee to present our insurance renewal for the county for the upcoming year. The Insurance Advisory Committee met on February 20th and received initial renewal numbers from our broker, LP Insurance, indicating that based upon our paid loss ratios for our insurance utilization, that Cigna was offering a 17% renewal rate increase for us. So the committee discussed basically next steps and whether or not we wanted to go to market this year or see if Cigna could do better. So we directed our insurance broker to reapproach Cigna and ask for the best rate that they could renew at based on our numbers and also a long-standing really good history and relationship with Cigna, and see what they would do for us for a, what's your best if we don't go to market. And they came back with a 9.89% increase The committee was presented with those numbers on March 12th and unanimously approved to make a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners to accept the 9.89% increase on medical insurance and a 5% increase on dental insurance, and then a 0% increase on vision insurance, being that we're still in a rate lock guarantee with our vision provider Superior. I will say, just as a note, that when we met in March, our February numbers came in and our paid loss ratio was at 114%, meaning the insurance company is losing money. And overall, our rolling 12 is at 94%, which is not good for negotiations. You want to be somewhere in the 70 and 80 percentile range to be doing real good. And then our plan year was at 103. So for every dollar the county pays in premiums, the insurance company is paying out $1.03. So they are currently taking a loss right now, but again, leaning on that longstanding history with Cigna is where we felt that they were being extremely fair with us. The insurance committee did have a lot of discussion about presenting this, and they did feel that with the way we are trending in some of our large claims that are currently tracking right now, that if things don't get better for the future, then we will need to look at other alternatives like going to market and potential plan changes and decreasing what benefits our plan offers. But for now, we felt comfortable with the asking you to consider the 9.89% there.
Thank you, Julie. Is there any public comment? Any comment from board or staff? Seeing none, can I get a motion?
I move to accept the recommendation from the Insurance Advisory Committee for employee and retiree health, dental, and vision insurance for FY 2024-25 with a 9.89% increase on medical insurance with Cigna and a 5% increase on dental insurance with Cigna and a 0% increase for vision insurance with Superior. And further, a motion to continue contributing $182 per month to an employee's health savings account, HSA, for those employee enrolled in the high deductible health plan.
I'll second that. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Julie.
Thanks, sir.
Is there anything you wanted to pull from the consent agenda? Can I get a motion for it then?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Consider future agenda items. Is there anything anyone wants to add to a future agenda? Yeah.
Sheriff Richard Hickox for the record. I would ask that we have a consideration or a motion, discussion in renaming potentially the Sheriff's Office building to Mark L. Wiles Memorial Law Enforcement Facility. Mark Wiles was a sheriff in 1917, got killed in the line of duty in 1918. I'm not related in any way to the Wiles, so I have no personal agenda there other than he is, and knock on wood, the one law enforcement officer associated with the Churchill County Sheriff's Office has given his life in the line of duty. And so I would ask that if we could consider that for the future, please. He died May 23rd, 1918, while being trying to serve a warrant. He was shot.
What was his name again?
Mark L. Wiles. He took office in 1917 and was killed in 1918.
We can consider that. Thanks, Sheriff. Any other things that anyone wanted to consider? Seeing none, we'll move to our commissioner and management staff reports. Justin?
I attended a Lahan Conservation District meeting and also a Central Nevada Health District meeting. And I am meeting with Darren from the Central Nevada Health District. Meeting with Darren with the Central Nevada Health District to discuss healthcare in the community. So there are plans kind of working out right now. And the Catskys were not fired. Northern Nevada just closed the clinic for financial reasons.
Good to know. I had a fire board meeting last week, and then I had an RTC meeting this morning. That's all I have. Sherry?
We're just working on the tentative budget. We'll see you next week for that.
Jeff?
I have no updates.
Jim? Sheriff? Should have just stayed up there.
So several members of the administration went to Western State Sheriff's Association, which held a conference in Reno, Nevada. We got some very good information, some of which there's a couple of bills that are being pushed through or trying to be pushed through at a national level, which would affect us dramatically. I've spoken to the county manager about one. I'm still trying to get some more information on it, as well as on the other one. One of them would drastically change visitation within our facility to the point where we would lose a lot of security if that's pushed through. The other one deals with search and rescue and takes it from a local enterprise to more of a state or federal level because of the requirements that are put on it. So we're opposing those. We're trying to get some information so we can get it to the county manager so he can forward it on to oppose those at that level. Part of the other administration and sergeants went to Las Vegas for a conference dealing with jail liability and some new classification standards. And so they've come back and are working on policies to reflect those new current standards.
Thank you, Sheriff. Anything to add, Pam?
Nothing for me, thanks.
Okay. We'll move to claims and payroll. Those are going around. At this time, is there any public comment? All right, we stand adjourned. We have 17A, which is pursuant to NRS 211.020. The commissioners will conduct the quarterly jail inspection at the Churchill County Jail upon the closing of the meeting to inquire about the security of the jail and treatment and condition of the prisoners. Thank you guys for being here.